All right, so this is going to be the exterior home inspection video. All right, so I'm going to point some things out. If I miss anything, it's going to be a report. I haven't run this unit yet, but I will once I'm done with the video. I'm just doing all the exterior stuff, and then I run everything on the inside. So first, you got gutter covers, which obviously is good. You got one you got to place over there. Let's talk about the flashing. We can try to. It's probably screw this obviously down. But honestly, in a way, this is actually flashing. It actually goes all up and around and is scooped to the corners, which always can get redone again. The unit is probably it's probably towards the end of its cycle, but I mean it's still what 2003, so it's almost 20 years old. So obviously you can see the rust on top. That's just from obviously being on the roof. No one should put package units on roofs anymore. Actually, brand new houses are not even supposed to have package units anymore because Title 24s don't meet Title 24s as they are 80% efficient. So, anyways, it's not very common that you see package units on the roof. Most of the time you see package units on a roof is if there is not much clearance on property from side to side. But even that, usually they'll just put it in the backyard. There's either have 3 foot of clearance when you're for service. Okay, obviously there's damaged sheathing underneath this. As you can feel it, I am just bouncing on it. Same over here on the other side. Because if you go down here, there was obviously a leak at some point. Yeah, it's not so bad. I mean, this obviously is where the leak is. There was at one point. It's just basic sheathing, probably 1/2 inch going over the outriggers. So a 1/2 inch sheathing usually just bounces a little bit anyway, but not too bad. Like I said, there's probably some little bit of issues to be concerned with that. I think that really right where it pulls up right there. Wind. You see the wind because the wind always goes this way, so that's just pulling up. It's just, I mean, it's common for the wind to always come from this side this way. That's why you see a lot of damaged sheathing. Ironically, I started at the wrong house this morning. So over there was for a half hour over there. So that was that was kind of embarrassing. Okay, let's go down and do the siding now. 1 second, and then I'll run the unit and head back up there. Okay, so you got, obviously this is I think this might be the second or first generation Trex. Basically, when Trex first came out, they wanted you to butt everything and leave no gaps, so then you would create ponding issues. My Trex on my deck is the T&G Trex, which is terrible because there is nowhere for water to go, and if you have settling on the girders and stuff and your posts, then you'll see divots, and then it creates ponding on the deck. So one good thing is that the Trex obviously is in good shape for the age. So this is actually better than the T&G Trex they have. So railing is 42 inches up here, which is now would be considered code. As before, years ago, it'd be 36. So let's go around the back or around the side. Like I said, I haven't done the inside yet. Okay, so you got newer Trex. All right, we got loose railing. You got newer Trex on top of the front porch. So this is actually newer than up there. And the thing is, for these stringers, you cannot put Trex on unless you install more stringers, because these are spaced out 2 foot, and you cannot do that for standard 1 inch or what's called 5/4 Trex, which is a composite which requires 16 on center joist stringer spans. You got 6x6 posts. You can see some that is leaned a little bit, but I mean, for how many years it's been here, I mean, it's still pretty good shape. I mean, this is the fact that he used 6x6s instead of 4xs is so much better. And even the fact he used pressure treated joist, which when this was put together was probably not required. If this is over 17 years old, then they didn't require pressure treated joists, which is just a smart way. I mean, now it's required. Obviously, it's. I mean, I can imagine this just deck is probably original. Not the treads up top, but the joist, because they didn't have Trex back then when they built this house. So these 4x4s are actually, so you actually used flags instead of nails. So I almost wonder if a contractor owned this house. So anyways, there is 1 inch clearance between the concrete and the columns, which this is not pressure treated. Neither are those over there, the columns. So with that 1 inch clearance, it would actually meet code today if it was Douglas fir, which this is Douglas fir. So I'm not too concerned about. The one good thing about 6x6s is even if you see this little damaged stuff, you still got 5 inches of good wood in there. I mean, if it was 4x4s, then you can start getting really scared. So let's go and see the cantilever deck over here. Okay, so there is some damaged, areas right here. So cantilever goes in 3/4 with 1/4 exposure. So this is actually running across through the house. So a good way to fix something like this, if it becomes a serious issue, is actually all thread another board across here, another 2x8 on the edge, and all thread it through and tie it, and then tie it and reinforce it to the ledger of the house, or not the ledger, but the rim. Okay. Let's go around to the side. Sad thing, I was actually over there doing that deck over there, and I was ripping it apart. So it was nice to see this. This is not a okay. They have a certain concrete epoxy that you can apply, which they did the back already for this. One of the best things about this house is just the absolute great drain tile around here and drainage. I mean, this is unbelievable drainage right here. I mean, look at this. There's some mortar joints that are pulling away from the retaining wall, but honestly, I'm not too concerned. And I wouldn't be concerned about even a French drain, even if there was one, which there might even be one, honestly, if they have all the concrete work with the openings in the drain tile. So, but the actually code is 10 foot, which this is a little bit less than 10 foot, and this is applied as new code, 10 foot with 2% grade to require French drain, anything less than that, but this is totally fine. Let's see. Damaged trim right here. So you might as well just go all the way up to that white part right there, and this kind of trim often just kind of swells anyway, so it's common. Outriggers are close enough to the end of the rafter tail and a fascia where you don't need a block for the fascia board for the gutter, because a lot of times they'll twist out. I still do it though. I always like to just put a block there, but this fascia is still pretty straight. Some of it is just going to be sun, so what I usually do is I wrap around fascia for the gutters, behind the gutters, because then it keeps all the tails and all the gable tails and everything and gable ends all straight. You're gonna have to replace your panel box. It depends on once you update the newer appliances. This is most likely a Zinsco, or Slovenia was the brand name after panel box. And this is something that if you start applying new, I took a picture with the all apart, but once you start applying new appliances and you start seeing burnt ends, then you should be concerned. But it's something that you should look into. I'm gonna put it down that for my own liability, just because they do have issues. All right, let's see. Is that it? I think that's it for the exterior. Oh yeah, there's some mortar cracks in the concrete, which you can mortar joint crack repair. Epoxy ejections can take care of that. So the one good thing, lastly, is that you're on a concrete slab, so you really don't have to worry a whole lot about water protrusion or rot, obviously, when you're on a slab. So overall, it's a great house. I mean, I think that it's obviously, when I look at the age and stuff, I'm looking at the structure, not the cosmetic stuff. So all right, that is it for the exterior part. Thank you.